Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is going to be tsunami, car tracking, and global currency. First of all, this comes to us from Teal Brent. He had this dream back in May 3rd of 2012. Now, I said on the radio, I said, I don't have two witnesses. Matter of fact, I only have one witness that has seen any kind of a landslide from the Canary Islands causing a tsunami to hit the East Coast. Well, I got this email where this fella is showing this and saying this. Now, I say right up front, I do not have a confirming witness, so this is not confirmed. That means that it's not necessarily confirmed from the Lord that it's going to happen. Now, it doesn't mean it's not from God. That doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It means that it's not confirmed, meaning the Bible says, in the mouth of two or three witnesses, let a thing be established. For example, Proverbs 13:22 says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. It only says that one time, which means it's not guaranteed to happen. Let's see, what was the other one? There's another one. Oh, yeah, okay. It's appointed a man once to die and then the judgment. That is not found but any place but one time in the Bible, means it's not always the case. So this one, since it's not confirmed, means it's not always the case. It's not guaranteed to happen. I want to say that it means that we can pray it away. So let's see what the man has to say. Canary Islands caused tsunami to hit east U.S. coast. The vision started off, the Lord is my left side. He took me across the body of water. I see the water underneath me, and we're moving very fast across the Atlantic Ocean. I'm shown a mountain. We're about 40 feet above the tree lines, and I heard the words, Canary Islands, Canary Islands, Canary Islands. Then I heard a boom, and part of the mountain broke off and quickly dropped into the Atlantic. So fast, the trees bent backwards. Now, that kind of makes me believe the guy, because who would think of making the trees go backwards if it was just in their own intellect? Trees went backwards. It made a clean break as if you had just had a butter knife cut the butter in a diagonal. I watched this mountain hit the sea. Before the mountain was totally in the water, there arose a wave about 300 feet high. It went out and up to 300 feet. The Lord took me back across the Atlantic Ocean to the east coast of America. Apparently, the people had been warned. Now, the problem is, yes, okay, the tsunami moves across the Atlantic at 520 miles an hour. I forget how long it is. It's like a 6 or 8 hour window that they have to warn them. But to try to evacuate the entire East Coast, even if you had 3 days, would be almost impossible. So apparently people had a warning. They were trying to get away from the ocean. They saw chaos and chaotic situations. People ran out of gas, forcing themselves into people's vehicles. Some were pulling people out of their cars and taking their cars. It was every man for himself. It was chaotic, pandemonium, gas stations out of gas, pure animal instinct. People were trying to get out, but really, they couldn't go anywhere. There was not enough roads for people to evacuate quickly. The exit roads were instantly jammed, accidents everywhere, uncontrollable, people going everywhere, but really going nowhere. They were all stuck with no escape. There was no order, people panicking. Then the Lord took me above North America, looking at the whole continent. The East Coast from the top to the bottom was gone. I'll say it again. The East Coast from the top to the bottom was gone. It had taken on so much water, it was gone as we know it today. New Jersey, gone. No longer there. Ocean upon Pennsylvania, East Coast, gone. States and their cities going south towards Florida were half to fully covered in water. The water had come very far inland. Florida, totally gone. I was in a shock looking at the devastation. To my left, I saw the West Coast was also hit by water. Oregon and Washington also hit, but it didn't come in as far as the East Coast. California took on a lot of water. California was separated from the United States. Nevada also was separated and pushed out towards the ocean. Nevada was separated and pushed off into the ocean. In the gap, there was water. The southern region of the United States, from Florida all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, and all of the lower states were affected, and also as well as the Gulf of Mexico. Louisiana was totally covered underwater to the north state line of Louisiana and Mississippi. Those bottom states were anywhere from halfway to totally flooded, covered with water. Fires were burning the whole time throughout this vision. The places that were safe were Montana, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Colorado, and I'd like to say DFW, but it doesn't say that. Those places didn't seem to be affected. I knew the tsunami would hit. Now, here's the interesting part. I knew the tsunami would hit at the end of August. The time frame from when this happens was from August 20th to August 31st. Now, I believe the Moloch and Baal worshippers were using their earthquake machine, and I think that was their time schedule. That's what they were trying to do. But I think our prayers intervened, and as a result, God destroyed it and put a stop to it, but at least softened and delayed. Okay, so the time frame of when this happened was from August 20th to August 31st. Within the 11-day span, this event had come. I do not know the year. This destruction is something that we can't even fathom because we have nothing to put it up against. We've never seen anything like it. We have no source of reference to this kind of devastation. They're not going to get out. Many people are not going to get out. We will lose entire or whole states. He showed me that we will lose entire states. Now, let's go to the next topic. This comes to me from an email from a brother that's been following us for a long time. I've been getting stuff from him for many years. And he says, I'm going to title this, New Miles Car is Driven Tax. In other words, they're about to tax the number of miles our car drives. Congress, as you know, is debating an infrastructure bill. In this bill are trillions of dollars, quote, not for infrastructure, but rather the Green New Deal, promoting the electric car, trucks, trains to offset the loss in gas tax revenue. The plan is to have a federal tax on miles driven. I'll say that again. The plan is to have a federal tax on miles driven, based upon a GPS report supplied by your car to the federal government. I better read that again, too. Federal tax on miles driven based upon GPS report supplied by your car. Your car will send them a report of how much tax you owe, supplied by your car to the federal government. Older cars that do not have the GPS devices will be required to get them in order to be able to register their vehicle. We're seeing this now. Now, I can't say the name of this place, but I think you know what I'm talking about. We're seeing this now with this O star. Okay, you got to fill in the blank there. We're seeing this now with the O star. The O star reports to GM how many miles the car has been driven, how much gas is in the car, when the last service was, all sorts of, quote, helpful information. The question is, helpful to whom? The Cash for Clunkers program from Obama was the beginning steps of this effort. The electric car will take Americans off the road, leaving them open to government officials, etc. Tesla would not be in business if it were not for the 70% of the production costs being paid for by the Obama administration. GM and Ford, etc., wanted in on the goodies, and that is what is being pushed. That is what has pushed the change. We do not need it, he says. It is Satan, the Antichrist, preparing the way. Now, the next step, next email he sends me. And let me just say, this information I'm saying about these companies, I'm not saying anything bad about them, and this information has not been verified. This is simply an email. But now we're going back to talk about O-Star, the devil's friend, he says. He says, you know that I've been selling CADs, I can't say the name, for about 32 years now, and saw the development of O-Star. You know what? It reports to GM 2 times a minute. I'll say that again. This O-Star, can't say the word, this O-Star reports to GM 2 times a minute where the vehicle is driving and every 20 minutes when it's parked. It also has its own power source so that if the car is damaged in an accident, it will still report. This technology was developed by Ray, I can't say that word either, but no one will talk about this. When it began, we were told not to tell the customers. Okay, so when this system, you know what I'm talking about, this system started getting put on cars, they told the salesman not to tell the people that it would do all of these reportings. We were only told, well, if you're in an accident, you can push this button and it will send some help. Let's go on. There's more. This goes back to the 80s. Not only does it report where you are, but can also disable the vehicle if needed. Perhaps if the car were stolen, or if you don't have the anti-V or the mark. You see what I'm saying? However, if the government does not want you on the road, it could just prevent the car from starting. So, EMPs may not even be necessary to shut down the country. Ford has a similar program, as do the imports. GM charges you for the program on top of it all. So they're not only tracking our cell phones, they're also tracking our cars. Why? Because the day is going to come when no one can buy or sell or drive a car or have a cell phone or do anything else without the mark of the beast. That's where we're going, and you know it, and I know it. Now, this comes to us from Benjamin Fulford. I'm only going to read a paragraph or so here. The JB controllers sue for peace over the secret East-West agreement. September 27, 2021. The controllers of the fake regime of JB are suing for peace, according to P3 Freemason sources. They're asking for a conference in Liechtenstein, by the way, that's how you pronounce it, soon. The reason for this is because the secret East-West agreement was reached in principle. Now, hang on. What's the East-West agreement? Well, what I want to believe is that is an agreement that the Moloch and Baal worshippers will lay down their weapons and turn themselves in. I don't think that's what it is, because I don't think the devil is going to give up his fight. Well, kind of like the saying says that they can get my gun when they pry it out of my cold, dead hand. Well, that's their attitude, too. These people don't give up. They're vicious people, and they fight to the death. So that's probably not what it is. But hopefully there's some kind of agreement to get these guys to lay down their arms. Okay, so a secret East-West agreement was reached in principle last week to pull the plug on the JB regime. According to sources, now hang on, what does that mean, pull the plug on the JB regime? Again, I want to believe that it's the internal revolution, that I want to believe it's going to turn out good and clean our land of the Moloch and Baal worshippers a lot of the evil. Unfortunately, that's not what the prophecies say. Probably. At least, what I also hope is that it's the massive arrests. And I hope, well, let's see, at that last count is there's 242,286 sealed indictments. 242,286 sealed indictments when normally there's under 1,000 all across the 50 states. So I'd like to think that there's 500,000, maybe 1 million people arrested and served up justice. And I'd like to think that that would be God saying, okay, you've turned from your wicked ways. I'll hear from heaven, forgive your sins, and heal your land. That's what I'd like to say. I'd like to think that this is America getting healed. But it's probably not. Anyway, let me back up. So the reason for this is a secret East-West agreement was reached in principle last week to pull the plug on the JB regime. I want to believe that that's the arrest. The JB regime, according to sources involved in the negotiations, the controlled implosion of this horrific regime would be followed by a, quote, massive East-West multi-trillion-dollar project to improve the planet. No, I doubt it's the infrastructure package. I'd like to think, remember the other prophecy where he saw a man turned upside down and shaken, and he saw cures like cancer cures and Alzheimer cures and all kinds of free energy and wonderful things. See, it could be if we could just pray enough and get enough people repenting that God would give not only America more time, but bring great blessings to the world. That's what I'd like to think this is talking about. Do I think it's talking about it? I'm afraid it's not, but nevertheless, that's what I'd like to see. Let's keep going. Now, remind you, Proverbs 13:22 says, the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. It is interesting to note Canadian banks will be shutting down on September 30th for National Truth and Reconciliation Day. National Truth and Reconciliation Day? National Truth and Reconciliation Day. Does that sound like we may, of course, as I'm doing this is October 1. Okay, so I didn't hear anything about any kind of a Canadian bank shutting down. I didn't hear that there was going to be a national truth reconciliation. I didn't hear any of that. Maybe I did, but I didn't hear it on anything. But I'd like to think something like that could take place. And I'd like to think that a lot of bad guys could be rounded up and a lot of good guys could be put in their places. Canadian banks should be shutting down on September 30th for National Truth and Reconciliation Day. That sounds like maybe we're moving into a quantum financial system. Our sources say it's to prevent them from being looted by JB's controllers as they desperately try to meet their payment deadlines. Now, this comes to us from HalTurnerRadioShow.com. Headline: China's Evergrande misses second interest payment on U.S. bond debt, September 30th. This could be the biggest story of the day, week, month, and the year, if not the decade. Posting some quotes below, Evergrande is huge, huge, and huge. They owe $1.95 trillion and can no longer make the interest payments on a mere $300 billion of their debts. They are approximately 5 to 6 times the size of Lehman Brothers, which almost took down the entire worldwide financial system back in 2008 and 9. Evergrande's collapse can no longer be avoided anymore. Now, hang on. Tie this together. Something big's up. In the financial world, something's big up. And I want to believe it's removing the old SWIFT system and bringing in the new quantum financial system. I want to believe that it's removing the Moloch and Baal worshippers controlling our financial system, and I'd like to believe that it's the good guys now in control of the financial system. Although you and I know that even if it is the good guys controlling a new financial system, the devil's going to get it because he caught us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, receive a mark on the round hand or on their forehead. Go on. Evergrande's collapse can no longer be avoided anymore. With the collapse of this mega firm, hundreds of Chinese real estate and financial companies will crash soon thereafter. Evergrande owes financial institutions all over the world. I'll read that again. Evergrande owes financial institutions all over the world. Does that sound like the old regime is crashing? Because it does to me. This could easily result in a cascade of collapsing debt all the way down the line in every country on the planet. I'll read that again. This could easily result in a cascade of collapsing debt all the way down the line in every country on the planet, meaning we could see the collapse of the American dollar. We could see the collapse of the old financial system, bringing in a new financial system, and I'd like to think it'd be good, although I'm skeptical on that. This is one of my charts, and I just got a call from the office, just interrupted the broadcast here just a second ago, and they say we are covered up with orders for these charts. So I just told them to order another set of these 50 charts and the 50 books and everything that goes with the order. So what you're looking at is a chart that I believe is extremely important for you to know. Why? Well, it's not just for you. When these things happen, there's about to be a lot of people that are ready to listen, not just about Jesus, but also about the end times, and you're going to need to have an answer. So let me explain briefly this chart. I know some of you, this is the first time you've looked at it. So essentially what happened was in 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation. I didn't think anything special was going to happen, but something special did start happening. I started getting revelations, even though I'd been teaching prophecy for years. I'd made several DVDs on Revelation, but all of a sudden, wisdom just jumped into my head like I'd never had before. And I saw things. I understood things that I'd never seen before. Essentially what he did is show me in one of the visions that there is a secret door, the word first fruits, which links Leviticus 23:12 to Revelation 14:4. That one word allows the book of Revelation to be set in correct chronological order. What you're looking at in this particular chart is the bottom part of the feasts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or Passover and unleavened bread, first fruits, Pentecost, trumpets, atonement, and tabernacles. Then above are the prophecies up here that are linked to the feasts. In other words, the feasts are a like thumb, first finger, middle finger, okay, like that. The feasts fit together with the prophecies once you have the secret door. and the secret door is the word first fruits. I explain that in the book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. As a result, we can then put Revelation, which is scrambled eggs, into correct order. That's one of the reasons that people believe that there's a pre-trib rapture, because they don't have the secret door, bless their heart. They honestly are trying to find the truth. Of course, we'd love to be able to avoid some of the trouble coming, but it's just not going to happen. But by having the secret door, then they can, for your own self, not just because I say it, not just as pastor says it, but for your own self, you can see in the prophecies how they really fit together. You'll see it, and you'll know in your heart it's true. Now, let me briefly explain. So the next time Jesus returns, it's not to the Mount of Olives. He's Mount of Zion. Revelation 14:4, I looked, and lo, a lamb stood upon the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in the forehead. Now, the key is, the next time Jesus returns is to Mount Zion, not to the Mount of Olives. So that's the big bubble buster for the pre-tribbers. Because all the pre-tribbers are told, oh, no, Jesus returns on the Mount of Olives, splits in two, his foot puts down. I understand. I used to teach that whole thing. However, Revelation 14:1 changes that. Okay, so the next time he returns is here. First fruits. He resurrects 144,000 one-year-old Jewish boys. Get the book that explains it. He walks around for 50 days. Then on Pentecost, we who are washed in the blood of Jesus then get resurrected to not our glorified bodies yet. No, not the glorified bodies. That happens 4 months later. But all we get is a wedding garment and a white horse. Jesus is brought forth before the Ancient of Days, and to him is given a dominion and glory and a kingdom. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. His kingdom is that which shall not be destroyed. He is then crowned King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He's given many crowns, a vesture dipped in his own blood. The book explains that. And a white horse. About 4 months later, he returns with the morning star to destroy all the tares. And in that moment, when that morning star, which is a bright light, comes out of his mouth, it hits the sinners, the tares, they fall to the ground, a pile of ashes and bones, destroying both body and soul. As it hits the earth, it goes to the center of the earth, sets the foundations, the mountains on fire, the hills melt like wax at the presence of the Lord. And as it hits us, whether we be in the grave that has just come out, or whether be alive on the earth, which would be very, very few, as that morning star hits us, instantly we get a glorified body. We got all of our mantles, our crowns, our rewards, our garments, everything. He said, my reward is with me. Then, 10 days later, out here on Day of Atonement, this is the people that are dead, that did not have a chance to receive Jesus, such as, say, Solomon or Samson or those people like that, okay? So that's out here at the great white throne. Jesus is the judge at the great white throne. He is also the judge at trumpets here at the judgment seat of Christ. Then 5 days later, the New Jerusalem comes down. So there, this chart explained very quickly. Now, the next chart, the audible voice I heard said the 7 seals play over 7 years. The 7 trumpets play over 7 months. The 7 vials play over 7 days. So what this does is, for the first time, lay out Revelation so, again, you can understand it. When you read this, nobody has to tell you this is true. You will see it and you'll say, I've been looking for this all my life. Because I had. I wish I'd had this chart 20 years ago. I wish I'd just had that one phrase 20 years ago. Just having that one phrase is worth thousands of dollars, at least to me, because all of a sudden I could lay out Revelation. All of a sudden I know how it's going to all happen, how it all fits together. So anyway, those 2 charts, you get both those charts. Here you go. Look like this. Yeah. Upside down again. The charts, okay? You're not supposed to see that stuff behind me. I forgot to move it. So anyway, we got it. Oh, man, don't tell me I did that. I took it off. Okay, well, here's what you do. Go to prophecyclub.com. Go to prophecyclub.com, and you want to get the teacher's gift offer. And that will tell you all about how to get the charts, all of the books and everything in the whole offer, prophecyclub.com. Prophecyclub.com. In 2017, God helped me to memorize the book of Revelation and gave me 30 revelations, 2 visions, and an audible voice. God showed me the word first fruits is a secret door linking the feasts of Leviticus to the prophecies of Revelation. For the first time, the end-time prophecies of Revelation can be placed in correct chronological order. One prophetic word said, "There is a lock I put over a word in the book of Revelation I'm going to open unto you. It will turn many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books." That's this book. It's called The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. So what if you had to tell a person the most important thing in the world, but you knew they're probably not going to believe you? Well, if you're listening to this, I believe you'd probably still tell them. Well, the most important thing to do is to receive Jesus. But the most important information is to not take the mark of the beast, because those people taking the mark of the beast do not get soul death, but they're tossed into eternal torment in hell without any possibility of escape. We put it into a book, Miss the Mark, Don't Take the Mark of the Beast, a simple book to give to people. If they read, they will never take the mark of the beast. Countless people are believing that they're not going to see any trouble of the tribulation. They're going to go in a rapture, which is a misunderstanding. So God had me write a book called How Pre-Trib Won. It explains how the Christian church was so snookered into believing a misunderstanding like this, and it helps them through scriptures to see the truth that there is not going to be a pre-trib, mid-trib, or pre-wrath rapture. No one is going any place to escape any testing. It's called How Pre-Trib Won. Then, the book of Daniel, most people agree, is probably the most difficult book in the Bible to understand. So I wrote a book called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, which gives this last generation the explanation and the parts of Daniel that they need to endure the tribulation. Pure and simple, it takes Daniel and makes it easy to understand. It's called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel. As you know, many of the broadcasts have referred to a list of dreams, visions, and audible voices from people like Dimitri Duduman, Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruver, and others. We put together a special radio offer. You can get 10 How Pre-Trib Won, 10 Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, 10 Miss the Mark, 5 Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, 5 God's Warnings to America, totaling 40 books valued at $800 for a gift of just $100 at prophecyclub.com. That's 40 books valued at $800 for a gift of just $100 at prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com. Order School of the Watchman package. You get 2 2-foot by 3-foot full-color updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten spiral ring notebook of the book of Revelation, 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, all valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. School of the Watchman package, 2 2-foot by 3-foot full-color updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten book of Revelation, the 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. Pastors inviting me in to teach the School of the Watchman get the package free. 785-266-1112 for the invitation. I've issued the order to cancel all of our shortwave, so if you're on shortwave and you want to continue listening to Prophecy Club, you can do so by downloading our app at your app store, going to prophecyclub.com, YouTube, Brighton, and BitChute. When a nuclear device goes off, it produces an EMP electromagnetic pulse, and it fries every computer chip unless they're protected. The good news is EMPShield.com has devices a military testing facility says are 100% accurate to protect against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. And they come with simple installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV, and electric generators. You can have electricity in a blackout. EMPShield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. This helps Prophecy Club. That's EMPShield.com. Promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. EMPShield.com. EMPShield.com. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com is owned by a prophecy student who reads his King James Bible and supports Prophecy Club. Call CornerstoneAssetMetals.com for gold, silver, palladium, rhodium bars, or coins. They can help you roll over your IRA, 401k, so tell CornerstoneAssetMetals.com Prophecy Club sent you. Due to many emergencies across the land, most people are out of Berkey water filters. We have them in stock at prophecyclub.com. The best barter is with gold and silver. Mention Prophecy Club when you call cornerstoneassetmetals.com, and they can also help you with your retirement accounts. cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Click like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend.